Informative.
Hi. Imagine being 56 years old at the doctor's and your doctor tells you that you've just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Females, you don't have to worry about this, but males, you might want to pay attention. I'll be discussing giving you pretty much important information about prostate cancer. I've been researching this topic for quite some time. About 3 years ago, my grandpa was diagnosed with it, so it's been interesting. I'm sure many of you men will grow older and assume that you're just perfectly healthy. Little do you know that prostate cancer cannot be seen and is usually found while in another surgery. Today I'll be discussing the diagnosis and describe the stages of this cancer. The first thing I'm going to be describing today is the diagnosis part of this cancer. Prostate cancer is a cancer that forms in the tissues of the male prostate, and most of you are probably wondering what the heck is a prostate. The prostate is a gland in the male reproductive system found below the bladder and in front of the rectum. So this is, sorry, this is transformed, but this picture shows basically the male reproductive system. This orange part right here is the prostate. So it's really small, but can be extremely painful. This is one of the most common non-skin cancers in America, and I found these statistics off of the Prostate Cancer Foundation website. And a male is 35% more likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer than a female is to be diagnosed with breast cancer. So it's a pretty big possibility. Studies show that 1 out of every 6 men is diagnosed with this cancer, and studies show that every 2.5 minutes a new male is diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now that you know what a prostate is and what prostate cancer is, let me describe to you the stages of the cancer itself. Stage 1, well, first of all, there are 3 ways the prostate can spread throughout your body. It can spread through the tissue, through the lymph system, or through your blood, just like anything else. During stage 1, which is right here, stage 1, the cancer is found only in the prostate. So it's this little tiny, this is cancer space in your prostate. It's really small and it hasn't spread basically. So that's when people usually tend to take care of it. However, if it's not noticed right away, it gets worse. During stage 1, like I said, the cancer is only in the prostate. In most cases, it is found during surgeries such as the benign prostatic hyperplasia, or if the Gleason score is low. Studies show that it is not visible by imaging, and it cannot be felt during a digital rectal exam. Stage 2 of the cancer is still within the prostate, but it got bigger, obviously, so it spread a little bit more throughout the prostate, and it has not yet spread through other parts of the body. It is more inflamed and more advanced than stage 1. Stage 3. The cancer begins to get more crucial. This is where the pain starts to kick in, and you won't be able to sit down, and it's critical. So it begins to spread outside of the prostate and into the surrounding tissue. And during this stage, the Gleason score is usually between a 2 and a 10. So as you can see, it goes outside of the prostate gland, and it starts going towards your rectum, and that's where it really hurts and it starts to burn. Even when you're using the restroom, anything like that, it really hurts. You're probably wondering what a Gleason score is. So a Gleason score is the system of grading the cancer. It is looked upon under a microscope, and the lower the Gleason score, the better. A lower score means that cancer is still, within your prostate, and your prostate still looks semi-normal, and it is less likely to spread. And the higher score means that the tumor is more likely to spread and is going to be a lot more painful. Stage 4 of prostate cancer is the worst of them all. The cancer is in what is called a metastasized stage, which means that it's spread throughout your body, and more than likely through your bladder, rectum, bones, lungs, and liver. And studies tend to show that the cancer is more likely to go through your bones than anywhere else. And all of that information was off of cancer.gov. So, and as you can see, this is stage 3, and this is the final stage when it pretty much explodes. It to your rectum, to your vesicles, everything. So like I said, the stages are the worst part, and my grandpa had to go through several treatments to pretty much get rid of it. And many men are unfortunate enough to end up being diagnosed with prostate cancer. It does tend to happen to older men as opposed to younger men, but it is very common. And the positive is that there are treatments and cures for it, and it just has to be taken care of. Even though prostate cancer is painful, or fortunately, it is curable.
Buggy like this one, not as much travel. It's got the iris. This one has iris.
That's pretty cool.
It's got the iris, it's got arms in the front.
Yeah.
Iris in the back. And it's got, see, I don't know if that's VW is, but I know it's VW, it's single lever. So I have that motor. Yeah.
So Christian, what did you think?
I thought the presentation was very good. She had a good attention device. The thesis was clear, and she had a very good organization. I understood like step by step and how she was explaining it. She had good citations, and she used personal experience, which was kind of good. And towards the end, she referred back to the personal experience. The only thing I could say bad about it would probably be the visuals are kind of small. I could barely see it, but it was still a good visual. And probably just like a few more citations, because I only heard 2. That's pretty much it. But it was really good.
Okay. On the visuals, I'll start with that because that's probably the thing that jumps out at everybody. Not only is the visual small, but it's 1/5 of the size that you might want to use, because you've got 5 little diagrams that you're referring to on the one page. And even if it was the full page, I think it would be small. This just calls out for simple transparency to fix that problem, and it would have made it a lot easier to see what you're talking about in the references. Anybody sitting past maybe the second row here is going to have a hard time seeing it. I'm sitting in almost the first row, and I'm having a hard time seeing it. So that, I think, is the glaring issue here. The topic's very clearly identified. You have a thesis statement. It sounds sort of general, but there's a good preview. Your internal structure is very solid and easy to follow. There's no problem there. I think some of the supporting material gets cited, some of it doesn't get cited. It sounds perfunctory. This is like brochure material sometimes. I did think that the presentation, though, is really nice. You're not overly dependent on the script. You do usually have good audience contact and fluency when you're speaking. There are a few places, however, when you've got some vocal dropout. For example, when you're making the transition to the speech, your voice drops out a little bit. Right at the end of the speech, it seems like you were just bailing out on the speech with your voice, and that'll be something that we'll want to work on a lot more for the next assignment. All right, thank you.